It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to the special Calgary International Film Festival edition, part 2. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce. I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
Yeah, it's a pretty good festival.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
Yes.
We should talk about it.
Yes.
So with that being said, it's time to feel the rage.
Well, thanks to all been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. Or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film, and we will watch it if it played anywhere in the world. Now, let's get to talking about an amazing festival.
All right.
So, this is part 2 of 2, where we're going to talk our Mondos. I think there's a button for that, isn't there? But apparently not. So far, in the second half of the festival. Mondo! There we go. That sounds about right. All right. So, I might as well start because I think, but I'm not sure. I think I had a couple more Mondos than you.
In the second half, I believe you did.
Yes.
I have 4.
All right. And I am son of Pencilhead, but I also, I think, have 6.
There you go.
And these are not in any order because I'm told, for whatever reason,
yes,
when we're talking this stuff now, it doesn't make a matter.
Well, no, because
usually everything has a list, has an order to it, except when Bryce says so.
Well, no, but we're going to rank our top 3 of the festival.
So we're still going to have. Oh, so we get at least one list, is what you're saying?
Yeah, this is just a discussion of Mondos.
Okay, there you go. So one that I know that is not a Mondo of yours, but it is definitely a Mondo of mine.
Yes.
Is called. Oh no, maybe this is one of yours.
Okay.
I'm gonna change it up. I was gonna read one out, but I'm gonna change that.
Okay,
so,
you do you.
Yeah. So the film I'm gonna talk about right this second,
yes,
which wasn't a Mondo for Bryce, but I know he loved it.
Okay.
Is called When Evil Lurks.
That was really good.
Yes. Let's face it. Every single country has tried to make a demon movie. But no one gets it quite as right, apparently, as the Argentinians do. They had no stupid demon crackling.
No.
Just good old-fashioned, juicy, bloated demons that turn an idiot and his family into a smorgasbord of gore, pus, and has a mom scooping out her child's brain and eating them as she walks down the street.
Yes.
And I'm like, how could this movie get any more amazing? This movie was shocking, gory, and took us places that every other demon movie was too afraid to go to.
Yes.
But this one said, fuck that noise. We're going to make a demon movie that is going to be fabulous. I loved every single thing about this movie. I love the fact that the main character is a dumbass and just continues to do dumb stuff. But at the same time, the demon did its job.
Best part of this movie, I thought, was like the sound effects, like every little squishing sound.
Oh, yes. There was so much good in this. Like the gore is fantastic. By the time I got to the end, though, some of the gore wasn't quite as good, so it kind of lost some of it.
Beginning, when you combine the gore with the sound that the gore is making.
Oh, yeah. Like there's a scene where they're dragging this pus-filled, bloated demon out on a sheet.
How do you not want to see this movie?
It's oozing pus, and I don't want to say ew.
Yeah.
Ew is now a thing, just in case you want to know. And they're just the sounds of the squish and squash when it lands on the ground. This movie is gross, but it is so much fun.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Yep.
All right. From gross, we go to
not so gross.
Not so gross. Seven Veils.
Okay.
Adam Egoyan's latest shows us a slice of life in the opera world. Amanda Seyfried gives probably her most layered performance of her career. I've seen her do some stuff where I'm like, okay, she can act, but this time she took it to another level. She was so good in this, as was the entire cast, which a lot of them weren't like, film actors. They were actually people that
opera singers.
So yeah, it was quite the ride, quite the eye opener, because you got to see a lot of stuff that I've never been privy to, and I just enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, for me it was I had real trepidation about seeing this because I'm a huge fan of Ken Russell's Salome's Last Dance, and it's one of my favorite films, in my top 100, I would say. So I was kind of afraid that, seeing Adam McGowan doing, it's not a version at all.
No.
Like, so right away when I knew that, I was like, okay. I shouldn't have had any doubt though, because Adam McGowan,
he's been knocking it out of the park for a while here.
Yeah, and we're going to probably talk about him in an upcoming episode for sure. This film, it transcends a play, an opera, and a film, and it creates this layered upon layered film of dread and horror and childhood turmoil that is brilliant and just allowed us to see a different, unique experience for film. I don't know.
It was a completely unique experience.
Yeah, it's not. It's. I mean, there's kind of films
we've had like plays within a movie with like even Asteroid City earlier this year, in a weird abstract way.
Yeah,
had a similar concept.
Yeah, but this
was just so good.
This one's more linear too. Like it's very. Yeah. And the greatest thing about this is we got a Q&A with Adam McGowan after it. And he is just the gentlest, kindest, nicest person you would ever meet. And he's just open to talking about not just his film, but any film. Like afterwards, we were able to bump into him.
Yeah, he was literally about to get on the escalator, but Jim tackled him and had a little conversation.
And he had a good role. He knew how to take a hit.
He did. And he was, he wasn't blowing us off. He sat there and talked with us as long as we wanted to talk.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Well, the thing that was even cooler about it was...
He had someone that was like, we got to go. And he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm talking
He's like, I'm talking to this guy who apparently knows about Salome because when people put their hands up, not a lot of people know the story from him. So, he even showed me that Ken Russell had some lost film footage and shared his phone with me. So there we go. We had a moment in time. Yeah, this movie, I love this movie.
Nice.
All right, well, this is a movie I have a feeling it is on Bryce's list. It's called Evil, and I was originally going to talk about this because we had a lot of evil.
We did.
In this festival. But evil does not exist.
No?
No.
Oh.
Apparently not.
Huh.
Visuals in this will captivate you from the opening and bookend shot of the forest. And between this is a slow, quiet, unassuming community living with nature and respecting all that the earth provides. And then glamping happens. Or at least what glamping represents. Capitalizing douchebags. This film will have you processing every shot and emotion you feel years after seeing it. I'm absolutely convinced of that. Like, this is a movie I will watch again and again. But in the meantime, it has a perfect ending to a film that you will not know what is going to happen right up until the very last breath of this film. See what I did there?
Yes.
Yeah, this film was so good.
Yeah, director Rasuke Hamaguchi showed that Drive My Car was no fluke.
Yes, no anomaly, man.
This was it's a slow burner. It's absolutely hypnotizing cinema. And as you mentioned, I mean, long after these final credits roll, you are still going to be thinking about this movie.
Yeah.
I'm still running over, images and scenes, and it sneaks up on you, and it's just so good.
I think because there's a lot that isn't said, but it is said. So it's like, it'll talk to you in different ways, I think, when you see this film, but you're not going to come out of this like a lot of people after the film came running over to talk to us about it.
No.
And they're like, what did you take from that? What did you take from this? I'm like, just absorb it. Like, don't even try and filter it through. It's just that good.
It is indeed. Well, I'm gonna touch upon one real quick that I'm pretty sure you don't have on your list. But
What?
Blaga's Lesson.
That's right. It's not on my list.
It's not. It's a gem of a movie, though. This Bulgarian-Germany co-production shows us how circumstance can turn a good person into a criminal. And when I was watching it initially, it's one of those deals where a lot of people are like, how could that ever happen to someone? Well, this kind of shows how that could happen to someone, especially when you're in a time of grief and you're not thinking quite straight. Stuff happens, and the way she handles it is probably not the way she should have handled it. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong.
It has a devastating ending. Absolutely devastating.
Honestly, I thought it was a happy ending myself.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was absolutely happy.
Okay.
But you know what? I did really like this film, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I didn't like this film. I really liked it. She was tremendous. She was tremendous. Like, I want to go back and see her entire catalog because she's brilliant, the lead in this. But yeah, I didn't love it as much as you. I found some of the pacing was a little off for me, and I always a little bit for me.
I got to admit, any movie where they're casting someone that's like over 65 in it,
it already moves up 5 points.
It's hard not to support that.
Well, I'm not. I'm supporting it. People should see this
I'm just saying. But at the same time, when they give this type of performance, and just like your lady last week with a woman on the roof or whatever.
Oh, you mean a couple of years ago?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Whatever.
Last week, a couple of years ago. Same difference.
Last year, I said. At any rate, it's like some of these senior actors have so much to give, and if they're in the right script, I mean, she was just awesome in it. But
yeah, in fact, we're not going to talk about the film, and I won't even mention the film in our Mondos here. But there was a elderly actor that we're going to talk about on our list in a couple months or a couple episodes. So get ready for that. Just bringing her back and watching her in a film that we've seen recently. Maybe Bryce knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, it was a good film. I think people should see Blaga's Lessons. And I think, didn't you tell me it's Bulgaria's put forward for the Academy or something?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, Blaga's Lessons is Bulgaria's submission to the Oscars. So
nice.
Yep.
All right, one that I know I liked a little bit more than you was Immediate Family. So imagine
I loved it.
Yeah, I know. You just didn't love it as much as me.
That's true.
So imagine finally getting to meet the session musicians from every album that's ever been made since 1970.
Well, through 1990.
But they are funny, amazing people who are humble and just a great, great time to be around.
Yeah.
For almost 2 hours. Okay, so maybe they didn't make all of the music in session musician but they pretty much worked with every single artist. It's what I liked about this film.
They picked up where the Wrecking Crew left off.
Yeah, exactly. And actually isn't that the name of their No, the Immediate Family is their name of their band. That's right. Yeah. So it's funny that these are kind of artists that I didn't really think about. I mean, I have a lot of the albums they talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go buy some of the albums that I don't have.
Yes.
Kind of like, why don't I own that Jackson Brown album?
Yeah.
Why,
Well, yeah, for me, it was more about James Taylor and Carole King.
James Taylor, Carole King, yeah.
And you know what? Almost made me like Don Henley's music. So that was kind of a surprise for me.
Yeah, it didn't go that far for me. Don Henley still sucks. Everything he did that's not the Eagles sucks. Yeah, and a lot of what he did with the Eagles
also sucked. Yeah, I'm not an Eagles fan. Sorry,
I love some Eagles stuff.
No,
but
don't know if I know what Eagles song
as a whole catalog, it's not as good as people make it out to be.
Yeah, well, there's another argument we can get in with people. But I had a smile on my face this whole film. I think that, like, for me, that was the measurement stick. Like, there's some issues, I think, with the film. It does get a bit draggy at the end. But because I had a smile on my face the entire film from the characters that they are, I loved this film. I thought it was amazing.
One more thing about the Eagles. I think Dennis Leary said it best.
Okay, what did he say?
I got 2 words for you when it comes to the Eagles. I can't say the middle word because it's a swear.
I'll fill it in.
Joe
fucking
Walsh.
There you go. Yeah, he was the only good thing in the Eagles. Yeah.
And his solo career was great. I love Joe Walsh.
Yeah, I love Joe Walsh too.
Anyways, I've gone on a tangent.
That's exactly how I feel about the Eagles too.
Yeah. I tell you.
Over to you, Buckaroo.
All right. Well, I only have one Mondo left that I had.
What?
In the back half of the festival. Still a lot of good stuff. Loved a lot of movies, but only 4 got to Mondo because Mondo's not easy to get to.
Well, I think just so people know, like at CIFF, you rate something 1 to 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you may all know, if you listen to our podcast, that we don't always give out 5s very, very easily.
No.
So
the fact that CIFF had as many 5s this year as it did is amazing.
This was the most Mondos we both gave out
at any festival.
At any
probably.
festival, yeah, ever. So
yeah, it was
kudos to them. And there wasn't very many that we're not going to talk about that made us rage. Like there's a few that made us rage, but when you think about the number that made us rage compared to how many Mondos we gave out, there was way more Mondos.
Well, a ton more Mondos, and when you compare it to all the movies that we went to, they were either good, great, or amazing.
Yep.
Over 90% of them.
Yep.
So.
And really, that's to have that is a huge accomplishment. So, congratulations, CIFF, for this festival for sure.
Probably my favorite movie of the second half of the festival.
Which was not the favorite of mine.
Yeah, which I don't understand. Well, I think it's not the favorite of yours because you slept through the whole damn thing.
I only slept through some of it.
You slept through a lot of it. You were snoring like nobody's. Every time I'm like, okay, I gotta wake him up. Then you'd like make some snorting sound and like wake yourself up with it, and then you'd be awake for a few minutes, and then you'd fall asleep again.
But I was trying to fall asleep because the movie was not exciting to me. But go on, tell us what you loved about this movie.
The best movie of the second half of the festival was undoubtedly Inside the Yellow Cocoon Shell. It is a road trip movie of sorts with from Vietnam.
Yeah.
As a young man has tremendous responsibility thrust upon him through tragic circumstances. His journey as he tries to find his older brother lets him reflect on his past and what is truly important in his life. I've never had a 3-hour movie go by so quickly. This movie was like, I thought this was 3 hours long. And it was like, I looked at my little
watch thing
device.
Yep. The one that kept waking me up from my nap.
And it was 3 hours long, and I couldn't believe it because it just flew by. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful film.
The 2 hours and 30 minutes I watched of this felt like 4 hours or 5 hours.
I think it was actually
ultimately
30 minutes.
Ultimately, I watched a lot of it. I remember
you were snoring a lot, man.
The greatest scene in this was the chicken fight for sure.
No, it wasn't. That was probably the worst scene in this.
For me, it was the best. But you know what? The thing about this is a movie that was made for Bryce. Like, this is one of those movies that we don't see eye to eye on. I can tell you one thing. The sound in this was the best sound that's probably ever been made in a film. Like, how they were able to capture the level and quality of the sound through this film.
The environment they were in.
Yeah, and the environment that they're in was truly, truly brilliant. And it is a piece of cinematic mastery. Don't get me wrong. It's just not, it wasn't for me. So I'm glad they played it, and I'm glad you got to fully enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yes, I loved it.
Yep. Another one for me was called Unsinkable. I was promised.
The synchronized swimming dog.
That's right. I was promised elderly ladies doing synchro, but I got not only elderly ladies, but also elderly men swimming.
You did.
Which made this doubly exciting once it started rolling out. I knew nothing. The only thing I knew about synchronized swimming before I watched this was that the Canadians have won some gold medals in synchronized swimming. But it doesn't mean I knew anything about it. I still know pretty much nothing, but I did learn about how much fun a bunch of experienced people doing something they love can inspire, entertain, and make me smile for an entire documentary. I love this, and I'm not going to lie, I'm in love with Ellen and Sue. I think these two people, one of them is from Canada, so maybe there's a hope. If Viola Davis doesn't take me when my wife passes on, I can find Ellen, and they and I will become married. I'm in love with her. Or Sue. I'm okay with either one. Yeah, I freaking love this movie.
All right.
Who thought watching synchronized swimming for 2 hours wasn't going to be any more brilliant? But I love this.
It was a lot of fun.
There was so much
it.
good in this. And that one lady, she was like 92 years old, and she's competing.
She was cool.
It's really, really, it's really heartwarming. Like there's just a lot of these people. They say in the film that synchronized swimming saved their lives. Like for someone to say that is, it's really touching. Yeah, I highly recommend people see this.
All right.
And Bryce is not feeling.
It was good. I gave it a 4.
There you go. But you still don't think people should see it?
As people should see it.
There you go. That's awesome.
Why wouldn't they see something that I gave a 4?
Okay. They should probably see it if we gave it a 3. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
There you go.
It wasn't Mondo.
All right. It was Mondo for me because I had a smile. Again, this is how I'm measuring documentaries that are heartwarming. If I had a smile for the entire movie, and my cheeks hurt by the end, it's a Mondo.
I had a smile for certain sections of the movie, and there were some people that kind of like, I wasn't in love with them like you were. One of the ones you actually mentioned, I wasn't in love with.
Oh, Sue? She's awesome.
Which is Sue?
Sue's the one who's kind of like the leader of it.
Yeah.
That was a professional.
And she was the focus, and she didn't enthrall me. Like
I loved her. I thought she was amazing.
You know, it's not my film, so I shouldn't say anything, but I would have focused on other things.
It would have been 100% Ellen. It would have been 100%
Ellen was good, and that whole troop from the East Coast was awesome.
Oh, from New York.
New York, yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
They were awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It makes me want to go swimming, actually. Me and Murray are probably going to join a synchronized swimming troop now.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks. You can come and watch us.
I don't think I will.
My last Mondo was Werner Herzog, Radical Dreamer.
Loved it.
If you go to this film thinking you will know more about Werner than you already know, think again. This is not a typical doc that follows a cultural icon. I mean, we get to know a bit more about him, but like most films directed by him, it's weird and wonderful and fantastical and makes me want to go through his entire work again and see it all. So if I had watched this and I went, you know what? I don't want to go back and watch all the Werner Herzog films. It might not have made it to Mondo, but because of that reason and that reason alone, this made it for me.
It was very good. Anytime you just get to hear Werner Herzog talk, it's a good day.
I don't know why everybody thinks he's got a made up accent.
Yeah, it seems to be a theme there, right?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is the thing, is that he has a very unique voice, which we've talked about this on the podcast before. What happens nowadays is so many people's voices in acting are not unique, and so when you cast them, it's like whatever. Back in like Jimmy Stewart days and Katharine Hepburn days, like you can close your eyes and watch a movie with those two in it, and like from frame one who's talking.
Yeah.
When Werner Herzog starts talking, it's him. Like, even on The Simpsons, you're like, he's playing somebody else that isn't Werner Herzog. But everybody knows it's him. Yeah. Like, to me, he's just created a unique well, he is a unique character. I don't think he created anything.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. His movies are brilliant. And we'll probably be talking about him coming up in the near future, too. This film generated some juice in me about some directors and some actors that we need to talk more about. So
yeah, when they were going through his films, I was like, I actually hadn't seen one that I was surprised that I hadn't seen.
Well, which one was that?
Do
you remember?
I can't remember.
Was it a doc?
No, it wasn't a doc. I've seen almost all the docs.
Yeah.
In fact, I've seen all the docs, and I've seen probably half of his early stuff there.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen it all.
Kinski, man.
Yeah, Kinski.
Kinski just makes everything better.
So I need to get.
I think we have to talk about Klaus Kinski too. Actually,
my Kinski on here soon. Actually, because I think we might have to have a Werner Herzog Film Festival.
Yeah, that sounds like a good thing to me.
There you go.
All right, so this brings us to the point where we're going to talk about our 3 favorite films of the festival, and I have one runner-up just because I had to slip it in there.
I ended up with 2 runners-up.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I thought I wasn't going to have to do that.
Well, then I'm going to throw in a runner-up too.
Well,
so you can go first, so I can figure out what that one is.
All right. Well, I'll give my 2 runner-ups, and you can give your 2 runner-ups. So that.
All right. Sounds good.
Anyways, my honorable mentions or runner-ups or whatever you want to call them, because, it's not a top 5 list, top 3, but I've made it a top 5 by having honorable mentions.
Of course you have.
The Teacher's Lounge. Just love this movie. We saw it pretty early on, and it still stays with me. And the one I just talked about, or we just talked about, Evil Does Not Exist. Hamaguchi is a master, and the fact that he didn't make my top 3 just shows you how good a festival this was this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So Teacher's Lounge also was one of my runner-ups. Yeah. This film, I can't put across to everybody that's listening how intense this film is, and how something that seemed, I don't know, maybe not minor so much, but got blown so out of proportion by the fact that everybody did the wrong thing.
Yeah, and it's like so many cases in life, if you just would talk to each other at the start, you might not go to this point.
Yeah, and talk in a way that maybe made more sense, right? So, with everything that's now politically correct in the world about, people's privacy and things like this, it's like, I'm sorry, people are stealing. If I want to film somebody stealing out of my purse, I shouldn't be criticized for it. Like,
I'm the criminal?
No, I'm a criminal because I'm recording somebody red-handed stealing my shit. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. This film is fantastic. I hope this comes out in major release. We're gonna have a huge gap of films that haven't been made in Hollywood in the last year, unfortunately. But maybe that means we're going to see The Teacher's Lounge again. And my other one was When Evil Lurks.
Ah, yes.
Which I freaking love this movie.
Love this movie. Yes.
It's the best. It's probably the best horror movie I've seen in years. It's probably the best horror movie I've seen in years.
It was good.
It was demon-tastic.
There was lots of squishy sounds.
There's lots of squishy, and you know what? I've said it once. I'll say it 1,000 times. If you've got a mom,
one of the dumbest protagonists,
the dumbest protagonist that does the dumbest things, and
but
it's believably dumb. Yeah, exactly. You're kind of like, dude, why did you even do that?
It's like, yeah, that makes sense. It's you.
It's you because you're a dumbass. But at the same time, if you're gonna have a mom, mom demon walking down the street eating your kid's brain, like she's scooping out popcorn as she's watching a movie. This is horror, people. This is what real horror looks like.
All
right. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Monster.
All right. And mine, Monster was number 2 for me.
Yes.
So my number 3 was Fallen Leaves.
Fallen Leaves. Yeah, that was like the first thing we saw.
Yeah, it was the very first movie we saw.
Yeah, it was so good.
It's so good. And I think mostly, I don't, me, I'm not a big fan of comedies, but when they're this good, and I'm also, to me, this was, I think I said it before, this one was like the Amelie of German or Finnish cinema.
I came out of that screening, it was the first thing we saw, and I was like, I can't imagine the festival living up to this film, and then boom, it's not even on my top 5.
Yep, no, so that's my number 3.
And I loved it. I mean, I really loved this film. All right. So my number, we're kind of doing number this 2. Weird now, but number 2, Inside the Yellow Cocoon Shell. I just talked about it. It's just an amazing movie from Vietnam. It just washes over you, and 3 hours goes by like nothing. Should have gone by for like nothing for you too, because you slept through the whole thing.
When I would wake up, it still seemed to last too long.
Yeah, it's so good. If you get a chance to check it out. It's so good. Although I don't know that it'll have the same effect not in a cinema.
You had to watch this in cinema with a really good sound to fully enjoy it, and don't watch it if you're tired. That's what I would say.
I was tired going into it, and I perked right up. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's because this is a movie that was made 100% for you. The director of this film said, you know what I haven't made this year is a movie that is just for Bryce. And then he did. And that's why I'm
not going to say that it wasn't made for me, but I think it was made for other people.
No, mostly you. Okay, so my number 1, no surprise, is 20,000 Species of Bees.
Yeah.
This film affected me in ways that I never thought I could be affected again after I was affected in a similar way in the movie Flea a few years ago. So yeah, this movie, I still think anybody that is questioning or doesn't understand trans rights should watch this film.
Absolutely.
And the people on the one side that are like stupid and idiotic and judgmental, if they watch this, maybe they'll change their perspective.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Mm-hmm. And my number one is the latest from Wim Wenders, Perfect Days. Jim didn't get a chance to see this.
No, I did not. And I'm sad. I will get to see it.
But it is just an amazing, amazing film. Just shows just a little slice of life of your average Joe in Japan cleaning toilets. And man, it sounds like, how is this good? No, this isn't good. This is amazing. This film, I will watch this over and over again throughout my lifetime. I love this. This isn't one of those ones where, oh, that was really good, but I'm never going to watch it again. No, that was really good, and I want to experience this film as often as I can. At some point, I will probably own it. I will have some sort of hard copy of it so that I've always got it.
We're going to bury you with it.
I love Perfect Days. The soundtrack, the mood, just everything. It's so funny. It's so heartbreaking. It's so good. Nice.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for us for CIFF this year. Yeah. And I hope that everyone gets a chance to go and at least take a look at their website, which is at CIFF Calgary, CIFF Calgary, spelled CALGARY.ca, and see the films that...
Yeah, check out what they played. Yep. And you know what? If it comes to your, somehow gets to you, or the festivals... opens up near you that has some of these films. I mean, we've given you some suggestions, and I think you should partake. You missed out on CIFF this year, but you know what? Maybe in future years, you'll make it out here. You'll say hi.
Yeah.
We'll be around.
Yeah, we're going to be there the whole time. Some of us will be sleeping in cinemas, sometimes some of us not.
There you go. We're old.
Bryce slept through the first half. I slept a couple times in the second half, so... It just shows our age. When you watch 40 films, it's not easy.
If the film was truly good, my eyes I perked up right away. Hence, inside the yellow cocoon.
Yeah. And that's a great way for us to end. Well, thanks. Super thanks to the Calgary International Film Festival for allowing us to work with them as part of the media team for the festival. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. Or you can send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Now, please go check out CIFF Calgary on their website, ciffcalgary.ca. Thanks, Ragers, for listening. We will be back with another sort of regular episode for Wednesday. Now, get out and see some films in cinema. And... as always, rage on.
Rage on.